construct an angle of 75 degrees. Now we know how to construct angles of 90 degrees and 60 degrees, and then half of 90, half of 60, and so on, correct? So whenever you see any new angle, see how you can get that angle by adding or subtracting all of these angles that you know, correct? So you know 90, 45, 22 and a half, and so on. Mostly you'll get integers, so we don't need to go below that. Similarly, you know 60, so you know 30, you know 15, and so on, right? So if we just stick to integers, 75, right, an integer. Using 90, 45, 60, 30, and 50, how can we get 75? There's not one, but actually multiple ways you can get 75 in. And you can actually use all of those ways to construct 75, right? For 75, let's see all of those possible constructions. How can I get 75? One way I can write 75 is 60 plus 15. I know how to draw 60. I know how to draw 15. So 60 plus 15 will give me 75. That's one way to draw 75. I can also write it as 150 by 2. 75 is 150 by 2. Why 150? How will I get 150? We don't know 150. You do know 150? 90 plus 60. Right? 90 plus 60 is 150. So we can get 150 and then we bisect it and we'll get 75. That's another way to get 75. Lots of different ways, right? It's the same 150 by 2. Instead of writing it as 90 plus 60, I can also write it as 180 minus 30 by 2. All of these ways give us 75, right? And you can use any of those ways, whichever you think is the easiest, to draw 75. Correct? So let's try and do 150 by 2. We'll see all of the methods. Let's start with 150 by 2, which is 90 plus 60 by 2. Now, how do you do 90 plus 60? Let's first draw 90. That's simple. Start with ray AB. From point A, we are going to take some distance in our compass, mark an arc on this side and mark an arc on the other side. Now keep the leg of your compass at this point. Take more than half the distance, mark an arc on top and below. Now actually below is not required because you already know the midpoint. So just one arc is enough. Move the leg of the compass to the other point, draw another arc. Right? Why the second one is not required? Because you already know this starting point A is the bisector, right? So you can join the intersection of these 2 points to point A. Correct? We had said, why do we need the second point? We need the second point because we need 2 points to draw a line. That was our logic, right? That we need 2 points to draw a line. Now we already have the second point. Point A. So this is 90 degrees. Now you need to add 60 to it. What does that mean? Instead of drawing 60 here, you need to take this ray. Let me call this AC. You need to take AC as the starting ray and draw this angle of 60 degrees, right? So if you're drawing it on a book, the easiest way to do it is just turn your page. Just turn your page so that AC becomes horizontal. It's easy to imagine that way, right? Why do you want to stretch your imagination when physically it's easy to turn the page? Correct? Some of you who are great at imagining, you will all be able to imagine and draw it without turning the page. When it's easier to turn the page, why not turn the page, right? So you turn the page, AC becomes horizontal. Now very easy. Just draw an angle of 60 degrees from AC. How do we draw angle of 60 degrees? Start with point A. Take any arc. From AC, draw a big arc. Keep the distance the same. Let me call this point D. Keep this distance the same. Move the leg of the compass to point D. Draw another arc. Draw another arc. Join these two. This is going to be 60 degrees. Correct? We turn our paper again. Make AB flat. So you have 90 plus 60. That means this entire angle, right? This entire angle, if I call this AD and AB, this angle DAB is nothing but 150 degrees. So this is our important angle. Now we need to bisect this. Why? Because 75 is 150 by 2. 75 is nothing but 150 by 2. So you bisect this. How will you bisect? Keep the compass at point A. Take any distance. Draw an arc here and here. Move the leg of the compass here. Measure a distance which is more than half. Measure a distance which is more than half. Draw an arc. Move the leg of the compass to the other point. Again, draw an arc. Join these two lines and you get the angle bisector. Join these two lines and you get the angle bisector. So this, if we call this point as E, angle EAB is 75 degrees. Angle EAD is also 75 degrees. Correct? But we had to draw an angle of 75 on AB. So this is the angle we are concerned with. EAB is 75 degrees. Right? So we used 90 plus 60 by 2 to construct an angle of 75 degrees. Not difficult to imagine now. How will you construct if you used 60 plus 15? How will you construct if you used 60 plus 15? I'll just show you the diagram without going through the construction. You will first construct an angle of 60 degrees. Now you know how to do it. Then what will you do? You will turn this ray to make it horizontal. You will construct another angle of 60 degrees. Now you don't want 60, you actually want 50. So what will you do? The second angle of 60 degrees, you'll bisect it once. Just this angle of 60. We are not concerned about the below. Just 60 I want to bisect, right? Not the 120. 120 if you bisect, you'll again get 60, right? So if you bisect 60, you'll get 30. If you bisect this 30 again, you will get 15. Now turn it back up. This is 60, this is 50, total is 75. You'll get the same angle of 75 degrees, right? All of the different other ways that we wrote down here, you can try them out. Any of those ways will work. Whichever you find the easiest to do, you can follow. All of them will work, all of them will take you almost the same amount of time to construct. This case, 90 plus 60 by 2, slightly faster, which is why that's the one we went with. Because one angle bisector, right? Not two. But none of these ways will take significantly more time. So any angle, the next time you see an angle, think of all possible ways that you can actually write it as the sum or difference between these angles, or the half or 1/4 of these angles, right? Because half and 1/4 is nothing but bisecting it multiple times. Any angle that you're given, you'll be able to draw this way. Now instead of 75, let's say you had 105. How would you draw 105? 60 plus 45. Correct? You'll draw 60 first and then 90, and you'll bisect 90. Correct? If you bisect 90, you'll get 45, and then 60 plus 45 will give you 105. That's one way to draw 105. Some of you might think 90 plus 15 is easier. Then you can draw it as 90 plus 15. Many different possible ways to get the same angle, right? So any angle, just think of how you'll write it as the sum and difference of these, and you'll be able to construct any angle that is given to you.